Hi guys. So this is a message for Will Duffy and for others who are mistaken as he is. I'm just gonna go item by item, and this video will only be one item. Will, when you're talking about southern star trails and northern star trails, you're in error with what you're saying. And I'm not talking about a flat earth or a globe earth, okay? So take that out of your mind. We're not talking about the shape of the earth, okay, Will? Will, this is super important. Super important. So all the stars in the sky that anyone has ever observed from the earth, Will, this is important. They all go east to west. They all rise in the east and set in the west. Now, when you're taking star trails, depending on where you are, if you're looking at the south celestial pole and you're at the equator, you're going to see like a half circle, and there actually won't be any circumpolar stars, like at the equator. And so you'll see half of the path that they take. Same with the north. And something you're saying that you're, and I'm not insulting you. I'm saying you're ignorant of something. Two things. One, the nature of the reality of the motion of the stars, what they're doing, because you understand that there's a celestial pole in the south and the stars are all going clockwise around that center, or that celestial pole, and I agree with you there. That's true. And in the north, we'll just say Polaris because it's close enough to the celestial axis in the north, and the stars will be going counterclockwise around Polaris. Now, one thing that I've noticed is, like, Will, this is super important, is I'm just teasing. You're saying it as because you've said, which can't happen on a flat earth. Okay, now keep in mind, we're not talking about the flat or the globe right now. We're talking about the stars, and I'm making a comment about the accomplishment you felt after you said two celestial poles can't work on a flat earth. Okay, there's error in your logic, and then there's error in your understanding of reality. And remember, we're only talking about one item. We're talking about you saying that on a globe that there's a south celestial pole and the stars go clockwise around it, and at the north it's the opposite way. They go, and you've said that. You said that the stars rotate the opposite direction. That's what you said. That's blatantly false, Will. What you're doing is, like, I don't really know what words to describe it as, but it's been happening for 10 years. You think that you understand something about these poles and the motion of the stars, and you've jumped to, like, unrelated conclusion that can't happen on a flat earth. Well, here's the problem with your logic and just your approach, Will. If the stars are rotating in opposite directions in the north and in the south, if what you're saying is true, then you just proved that you're not on a globe, Will. Okay, and I'm not debating globe or flat. Wow, it's warm in here. So I'm not debating whether it's globe or flat. What I'm pointing out to you is, on a globe Earth that is rotating, it is like a one object rotating, right? There's no two directions that the stars are going. They're all going the same direction. what the ignorance that you're showing, Will, the part that you're misinformed about reality, is that oh man, I've gone over this so many times. Okay, first of all, you don't get to say that something in the sky doesn't work on a flat earth, because guess what? We are subject to time, seasons, days, and years. And Will, side note, I'm learning you don't really believe what the Bible says. You're saying, if it agrees with what science says, then I believe the Bible. Okay, whatever. You can't falsify the Bible and say that you believe in the Bible. Get it? But just logically, the sky, okay, we're just going to use you, Will, and me. We're standing wherever we're standing, doesn't even matter. And I look up at the sky, we're right next to each other. And I look up at the sky and I say, hey, look at that. There's Jupiter. Oh, look at that. There's whatever. Okay? Guess what you get to do? The exact same thing. You get to say, look, look at Jupiter. And that's what we get to do. We're subject to the motion of the stars. We don't decide them. We don't predict them. This is where you're in error also. The globe doesn't predict anything. Time past predicts things when it comes to the sky, because it has cycles and it's seasons, days, and years, and it is literally the clock of the world. The thing, like in the Bible, the things under the stars are subject to time. The things above the stars are eternal. They're not subject to time, Will. So anyway, that's the item. The item is that on your globe, the stars don't rotate in opposite directions in the north and in the south. On your globe, Will. Because the globe, it's not two counter-rotating hemispheres. That's not what the globe is. The globe is one single sphere moving in one motion, or one rotation, or I'm not even saying the right word. Yeah, it's rotating. One rotation. So anybody standing on said sphere, looking up at the stars, no matter where you are on the sphere, the stars are all going the same direction because that sphere is going one direction. So it's not a gotcha, Will. It's not. The sky does what the sky does, and when we go to the south, it does what it does in the south. Now, I don't want to avoid Will's accomplishment in the final experiment. I don't want to avoid that. So what I have to like be specific when I say the flat Earth. I'm speaking about a different flat Earth than Jaron is, and I'm speaking about a different flat Earth than any of you are if you're talking about the AE map or the AE model. Now, just being honest, when I read like that he what does it say? He used a compass and drew a circle on the face of the deep. And like in Job, it says the face of the deep is frozen. And like it does make sense that if a sun was circling around a North Pole. But this is the accomplishment that Will has brought forth. And I have to say that it's irrefutable that a model that has a south ice wall or whatever, that model really can't work in reality. So there you go, Will. The AE map, I think you debunked it quite thoroughly. How's that? And since Jaron, like, he's clearly showing everyone that he believed in that map. He was like, he thought that's what Earth actually looked like from above, from God's throne. And that's what he learned over these 10 years. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I guess I was wrong. Yeah, you were wrong. My understanding, like I was just being honest and saying, that makes sense to me, that a sun going around would like kind of melt the ice and whatever. Makes sense, but it doesn't make sense if they go to the south, like Will's saying, where's the South Pole on that ice wall? That's a question that I don't think there's an answer to. But, of course, the globe predicts it. You can't personify the Earth. It doesn't have a mouth. It's not, okay, we live on it. That's how the Earth is. It's the part, I'm driving on the freeway right now. I'm riding in the car, I'm not driving. Riding in the car or truck on the freeway. And there's asphalt. The asphalt's not moving. My truck is moving. There's things in reality that you can't argue with. You can't argue with if there's a globe that's spinning, the stars will be all going the same direction. Anywhere you stand on the globe. They're all going east to west, or like the top half of the globe isn't a hemisphere spinning east to west and the bottom west to east. That's not. If that's the globe you believe in, maybe I'm mistaken. But the globe we were taught in school, the one in the solar system, the one that I have no interest in believing. Will, this is super important. This is super important. So anyway, Will, you should stop saying that the stars rotate in opposite directions in the north and the south. Okay, what you need to do, Will, if you want to fully understand the part that I'm calling ignorant, if you want to understand that, and like make it so this video is obsolete, just go to Wikipedia and look up the word counterclockwise or clockwise. They're both going to be in the same section. And just read up a little bit on just the scenario that must be in order to use those two terms, clockwise and counterclockwise. Jeez, what is this guy doing? I don't know why people do that. Just like, I'm on the freeway, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lanes. I'm in the second to the left, and a guy gets on, he's over in the 6th lane, and he just juts over right in front of me. Right in front of me. And I like get on my brakes and then switch lanes and go around it. That's so weird. Now he's right next to me. Okay, so Will, this is super important. The globe that a lot of people believe in and a lot of people don't, that the cosmology or whatever, the scenario that must be is that I guess there could be a geocentric globe, but the heliocentric globe must be rotating in order to have daytime and nighttime. So in that rotation, there, now he passed me up. That's crazy. And guess what his license plate is? RRT666. Wow. Minnesota license plate. Find out who it is. Tell them to pay more attention to their driving. Will, this is super important. I mean this all in fun, but you shouldn't say that they're rotating in opposite directions in the northern and the southern hemisphere, because they're not. They're all going east to west. So if you go to Wikipedia and read up on the requirements that must be met in order to use the word counterclockwise or clockwise, you have to, in order to see a rotation direction, you have to choose what side of that plane of rotation you're going to stand on, because there's two sides of it. Like the tires on my truck right now. Someone's driving down the freeway, and if you, like, let's just take my front driver's side. Yeah, my front driver's side wheel is going like this, right? It's going forward. So if I stand over there and I'm looking at the truck from the outside, it's going to be going counterclockwise. But if I stand over on the other side of the truck and look at it, it's going to be going clockwise. So the wheel's only going one way. But there's two ways that you can observe the wheel to make the opposite rotation. So how that applies to the stars in the sky is that if you're in the, well, probably the best way to describe it is if you're at the equator and you face north, you'll see the stars rising on your, rising on your right, setting on your left, counterclockwise. If you're looking south, the little thing that you're not, like when you're saying, I'm going to work on a flat earth, you're saying, I didn't realize that when you're facing north that you're actually facing 180 degrees from north or from south. So turning around, okay, now people say, oh, but how do you get to the other side of the stars to see the other rotation? You don't go to the other side of the stars. Remember what I said, we're subject to anything beneath the stars is like, that's nature, that's the luminaries, that's what God made, whatever you want to, I don't care what you believe. That's the nature of it. So you can't say it doesn't work on a flat earth, because it works on any kind of shape of earth you could think of, because that's the reality of it. There's a southern pole and a northern pole, and all the stars go the same direction around that pole, around that axis. So Will, this is super important. Super important. So the stars all rotate the same direction, okay? It could be accurately said that the North Celestial Pole, right by Polaris, that all the stars in the entire sky circle Polaris. That's true. It's also true that all the stars in the night sky circle around Sigma Octantis. Okay? That's true. Because there's one axis, two ends of it. There's ends of it, or an axis of the celestial center of the sky. The point in which the stars all go around, okay? So if you look north or you look south, you're going to see clockwise, counterclockwise, and clockwise. That has nothing to do with the Earth being a globe or flat, okay, Will? Super important, man. Much love.